So I've gone more science-based in terms of horticulture instead of commercially based, primarily I think through the people that I've met in academia. I think doing a master's degree exposed me to that, whereas if I had got a job straight out of getting a bachelor's degree, I think I would have potentially had more of an opportunity to be exposed to the commercial side. But doing a master's degree, then I was exposed to all of the people in academia, and that's kind of then where the pathway went. I think I was just satisfied enough with what that was giving me that I didn't ever feel the need to go the commercial route. And now if I think about doing a commercial kind of related job, it feels like it's a bit too rands and cents or money based. Whereas where I am now working my way up in the company that I'm in, I get that rands and cents part because it's a company, it's a private company, we need to make a profit. But there's also the research. I mean, we need to make a profit through research. So I've kind of just by hook or by crook ended up being able to get best of both worlds, getting the scientific side of horticulture and getting the commercial side of horticulture, but through a business that is focused on science. In my undergraduate degree, I think because I was older and had been exposed to a working environment in a different space before that, I knew the value of relationships. I knew the value of being able to talk to the professors, to talk to the lecturers. Also, I was genuinely interested in their feedback. Attending the classes was interesting for me. I saw them as kind of pillars of knowledge, if you like, people that have been in a space that I'm looking to move into, and I purposefully engaged with that. So I would ask them the questions. I would go and figure out, what about this, and can you explain this more to me? And I think doing that then made them recognize me as somebody that stood out. Now that I'm in that position as well in the business, when that happens, it's very obvious. You get people that come and go and they're kind of there to get the degree and potentially they have something lined up already. But then the people that do make an effort and that are interested are the ones that you do notice them. So doing that, I think just put me in the right place at the right time with the right opportunities. Which then, like I said, my lecturer was the one who said to me, I think you'd be interested in a master's degree. And I think she could only know that because I put myself out there and exposed kind of myself so that she could recognize what might interest me more. And then that put me into contact with my now boss, who then recognized, okay, but this guy's got some potential maybe in other facets that are not just a researcher. Maybe we should pull him into the management structure of the company. Maybe there's like some potential there. So just, I think, showing interests and not being afraid to talk to people to show them who you are, because that ends up getting you in the right place at the right time. So I'm doing apple and pear rootstock research, which is, apple and pear research on its own is quite niche, but when I tell people I'm doing the rootstock research on apple and pear, just going one scale more niche. I enjoy it because it's practical. I didn't, when I was in my undergrad, think, I'd really love to be a rootstock researcher. Again, it's one of those things that ended up, I got there and I got there and I got there, and then next thing they were asking me to do rootstock research. Anything research related can interest me. So, this happens to just be a kind of a playing field where I'm now doing the research, collecting the data and allowing the thoughts, etc. to come up to me. The research that I do involves decisions that have potentially longer lasting impacts than a cultivar. It's possible, as I said, to rework an incorrect choice when you talk about a cultivar. Not so for a rootstock. If you make an incorrect choice on a rootstock, you've got to replace the whole orchard. So there's very practical consequences to doing rootstock research. We are very far from understanding rootstocks in their totality. And it's not helping that they're being constantly bred. New ones are being bred all the time. Potentially we're going to get to a place where there's too many, and that's also maybe problematic. You don't want to give a grower too many choices, because then they're again basically back at step one. I have 5 really good rootstocks. Which one is the best one to choose is the same as I have 5 rootstocks that I know nothing about. Which is the best one to choose? So this kind of research is important because it's nuanced, and you actually need people that can transfer that kind of information over to the grower So it's important to get people that are invested, people that care about being able to disseminate that information, because if you don't have a custodian or a group of custodians doing that on the rootstock side, the growers are really going in blind with a decision that is, has huge consequences if you get it incorrect.